Good morning, and welcome into the Lifeline Morning Show. I'm Steven. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. You know, I love getting your day started off on the right foot. And to help with that, I've got an inspiring quote here. Today it's from Hannah Arendt, who says, "Forgiveness is the key to action and freedom." Ooh, think about that for a second. You know, I got to thinking, what verse really talks about forgiveness in the Bible? There are a lot of them, but there's one that I really gravitated toward, and that's Matthew chapter 6, verse 12. You know, it's part of the Lord's Prayer, and you've heard it. "And forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us." Think about it for a second. Forgive. What exactly does it mean? Well, I went on over to a great resource, blueletterbible.org, and I looked up the meaning of forgive. And I love this definition: to let go, let alone, let be. I love that. You know why? Think of it kind of like this. Pretend that you are on skis, or you're on an e-board or a wakeboard behind a boat out here on Lake Guntersville, okay? So you're coasting along, everything's going great, you're really enjoying, you're having a good time. All of a sudden you hit a wave. The board comes out from underneath you. You've got a choice. You can either let go of the rope or you can hang on. You let go, that's the best option because you just sink into the water. They'll be able to come back around and get you out of the water, get you back on the board, do whatever you need to do. But if you hold on to that rope, you're going to be drugged, and it's not going to be fun. No, it's one of those things where it's best to let go. Same with forgiveness. The only person that really hinders when you hold on to something is you. Then you're being drugged through all the emotions and the memories, and you're being drugged through all of the hurt and the pain. So let go. Do yourself a favor. And through that forgiveness, you're going to find what this quote talks about. Action, because you'll be able to move, and freedom, because you won't be tied to that thing anymore. So I hope that spoke to your heart today. Forgiveness is the key. Now let's go do this thing. It's Monday. Let's make it the best one ever, okay?
What day is it?
Monday.
What? Listen up. I need you to call the non-emergency emergency line. I canceled Monday last week and it's still showing up in my schedule.
Schedule.
Schedule? There's no J in schedule.
Your word of life today comes to you from Ephesians chapter 3, verses 20 and 21 in the New Living Translation of the Bible. "Now all glory to God, who is able, through his mighty power at work within us, to accomplish infinitely more than we might ask or think. Glory to him in the church and in Christ Jesus through all generations, forever and ever. Amen." Wow. He can blow your mind. And I don't know about you, but he's blown my mind before, and it's a pretty cool thing. So you can trust him. He knows what he's doing. Why don't you share that word of life with somebody? We've got it ready for you across all of our socials: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. And it's at the top of our website, 885jfm.com. Thanks for listening to us on the radio and on the stream. So my wife was telling me this morning that our daughter laid across her lap last night before bed and was just kind of loving on her. And they were talking a little bit about life. Yeah, and Grace told Cassie, "I wish I were younger. Back before I was going to school, when I stayed at Nana's during the day, and I didn't have to grow up." Oh, I love that. And I looked at Cassie and said, not knowing the whole time that she was growing up every day. Oh, you watch your kids grow and learn, and there are quite a lot of benchmarks that they hit. Right now, Grace is starting her first day of 3rd grade. It is huge, and she's come so far learning math. She's great with reading. Her spelling's coming along, and I'm telling you what, it's just so cool to watch her grow. And you know, something we've always noticed is Grace has had a way with words. I think it's part of being raised by basically a family of educators, because my wife's a teacher, and then her nana and gran, they were teachers, and so she's got some really smart people around her. And we've had comments before that Grace has such a vocabulary, and she can carry on a conversation with an adult. And it's something I've really enjoyed, that I know that she can get her feelings out there, you know? But when you hear these little ones have conversations amongst themselves, it just makes your heart smile. So I want to share one of those conversations with you. Coming up here on the show, you are going to love it. It's going to melt your heart. So please stick around and hear it for yourself. Making friends doesn't have to be as hard as we make it. Here's a little masterclass in making a friend, in relationships, from a couple of preschoolers. See what you think of this.
You want to hold my hand? Yeah. Do you take naps anymore? Yeah. You know you're older than my little cousin. He's only 3. How old are you? 3.5. Oh, so yeah, you're older than him. He's only 3, and I'm 4. I like your glasses. Thanks. Me too.
Compliments and general inquisitiveness. Just wondering what's going on in their life. Oh, it's so easy, isn't it? Sometimes we bring so much baggage to the table. Sometimes we feel like we're going to be let down again, so we don't even put ourselves out there for a possible friendship. We kind of stay to ourselves, but we've got to break out of that. Now, don't get me wrong. I know it's different now that we're adults. It's a lot harder to make friends, but if we adopt this kind of attitude that was just modeled by these preschoolers, I think we can do all right. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Out of the mouth of babes, right? So I came across this brand new music from Corey Asbury, and I thought today is the perfect day to play this because our kids, they're growing up. They've hit all kinds of milestones, and we've been there for it, right? Today might be your child's first day of school. It's a pretty big deal. So here are a little more of those milestones.
Hospital home was a 4-minute drive. The baby on board made it 35.
I got to celebrate a birthday over the weekend. It wasn't mine. No, my mom turned another year older, wiser, and it was a lot of fun. It's something I look forward to every summer is all the birthday parties we get to go to. Now that we have a daughter, I mean, we can go to all kinds of pool parties and outside blow-up water slide parties, and it's a blast. But we took this one indoors. It was kind of hot on Saturday. So ended up going to her favorite place up in Huntsville, Outback Steakhouse. She loves a good, thick, juicy steak, right? And guess what? This was kind of a surprise party, too. So I got to reach out to all of our family and tell them, hey, we want y'all to be here on Saturday at 5 o'clock at the Outback. Can you make it? And I'm telling you what, it was amazing. We packed that table out. So many of us showed up. Mom had a big smile on her face. My little brother and his family got to come from out of town. He lives up in Kentucky, where he is on the military base up there. So, yeah, we all got to get together, and it was great, right? So it came time to order, and there were steaks on that menu. It's a steakhouse, by the way, and I don't know how you like your steak, but I like mine fire grilled, right? It needs to have some char marks on it. It needs to be juicy on the inside. I like mine medium, right? And they had some really good steaks. And that got me thinking about, what does it take to learn how to grill a steak like that? It's just delicious, juicy, just melt in your mouth kind of steak. There's a lot of practice that goes into that. Now, I've got a little bit of practice myself. I mean, I can grill an all right steak. I'm not like a grill master by any stretch of the imagination, but did you know there are people who are considered grill masters? Yeah, I came across a story of a guy up in Ohio, and he just got finished grilling his millionth steak. Yeah. 1 million steaks he has grilled in the course of his 26 years. Crazy. There are only 25 grill masters to receive the title that this guy got. Now, he doesn't work at Outback. He works at Longhorn Steakhouse, and he is now a grill master legend. It's an honor only bestowed upon those who achieve the sizzling accomplishment of grilling 1 million steaks. Crazy, right? So what did he get for his 26 years of hard work? Well, let me tell you, he was surprised by the whole team. His family and company leaders came out to celebrate him, including the president of Longhorn Steakhouse, Todd Burrows, and he got a check for $5,000. And this whole ceremony surrounding him. He even got a beautiful new jacket to wear back there while he's grilling. How cool is that? Wow, what an accomplishment. Making some delicious steaks and some really happy people. All right, hey, I tell you what, I've got a request here. So my daughter called me. She's on her way to school right now. It's her first day of third grade up in the Arab City school system, and she was wondering if I could play a song from Emery Berry called You Lose. So this one is for you, Grace.
I don't care what you have to say. How many more times do I have to throw the Bible in your face? You can't see trying to pull me into a drought. I'm tired of having so many doubts.
I'd like to shout some people out real quick listening to us on the stream. I see our friends in Helsinki, Finland hanging out right now. Also, some people listening over in Wichita, Kansas. Plus, Joel Modis hanging out with us down in Palm Coast, Florida. And we've got some people listening in Arab and Gunnersville. I think that might be Savannah Mitchell listening to us. Good morning, Savannah. I hope you're having a great one. Getting back in the swing of things can be a little tough for us parents, getting our kids to school on time. And if you're running a little behind, don't worry, you're not alone. Got a little song for you coming up next that I think you're really going to love right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. I think I know how to pick my daughter up this afternoon because, see, I go and pick her up in the afternoons, but she's at a new school. She was at Arab Primary, now she's at Arab Elementary, and I'm not used to the traffic flow. Now, my wife drops her off in the morning, so she did that for the first time today, and she said, traffic was rough, as it's just the first day of school in Arab City, so I understand. It's going to take a little while to smooth things out, but I'm really not sure what route to take later, but I'll learn, and maybe you have found yourself running a little behind this morning, taking your kid to school. Well, just to let you know, you're not alone. Yeah, as we're all kind of getting in the hang of this, hopefully the school will have a little mercy, a little grace when it comes to us getting there on time, because we got to, kind of ease into it. But I came across this guy. His name is Jake Hoot, and he's over on TikTok, and he's a country singer, but he came up with the perfect little song for bringing your kids to school. Oh, you've got to hear this. Take a listen and see if you laughed as hard as I did the first time I heard it.
Dad, we're gonna be late.
Have her here by 7:30. It's what her teacher said last week. 30 miles down the highway, left the house at 7:23. Thought I could beat the school rush, but here we sit in this long line. It's the third day of this semester. We've been tardy all 3 times. Yeah, now I'm Christian cussing while my daughter's back there fussing. ETA's got me rushing, gonna be 30 minutes late. I know I could shave some minutes if I just went off-road with it. Yeah, this traffic's got me sinning out here on this interstate.
A little too relatable, right? Yeah, I've been frustrated before too. You get a little road rage when you're running behind. Oh, I just had to share that with you. Hey, take a little breath. It's going to be okay. You'll get into the hang of this. Give yourself a little time to do it. And maybe, I don't know, get an earlier start tomorrow. Learn, right? We just learn from our mistakes. So you don't want to be pressured so much. You have to leave the house a little bit earlier. I understand. It's hard, but hey, you can do it, Dad. You can do it, Mom. Keep up the good work. You're doing an awesome job raising those kids. I just talked with my wife a few minutes ago. She's all emotional today because it's hard, she says, taking Grace to school. She's been with her all summer long, and now to trust somebody else to take care of her, it can be hard. Now your word of life. Today from Ephesians chapter 3, verses 20 and 21 in the New Living Translation of the Bible. Now all glory to God, who is able, through his mighty power at work within us, to accomplish infinitely more than we might ask or think. Glory to him in the church and in Christ Jesus through all generations, forever and ever. Amen. That's Ephesians 3, 20 and 21 in the New Living Translation of the Bible. And there's a part of that verse that I'm afraid that we forget. We kind of look past it. We glaze over it. And I want to point it out real quick. Okay? Because it talks about how good God is. It talks about all glory to him who is able. And I love this part right here. This is what I want to focus on. Through his mighty power at work within us, to accomplish infinitely more than we might ask or think. He gives us all the fuel that we need. He gives us the support, the know-how, the wisdom, the knowledge in so many ways. And I love that he is working in us every single day. And he's working in you today. I just wanted to remind you of it. Why don't you share that word of life with somebody today? We've got it ready for you across all of our socials and at the top of our website. Our socials are Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok, by the way. And you can listen to the radio by clicking the On Now button on our website, then press play. I mean, I think it's only right because these teachers during the school year, they send home this work for our kids to do. And lots of times we're roped into having to help them understand these math problems and get through the spelling and through all the history stuff. And we do flashcards and we really dig in and help our kids, right? Yeah, well, maybe it's time for us to ask our teachers to help us with a few things while our kids are at school. What could I be talking about? Well, there are some behaviors that were exhibited and displayed to us during the summer break. Some behaviors that maybe could use a little correcting. Yeah, maybe if they had a class or two about some specific things at school, then they'd be okay at home. What kind of things are we talking about? Well, just for starters, how about how to close the door quietly at night? Or video game etiquette. That could be like a master class. Video game etiquette. When you choose to play games with your friends, do that with the headphones on. And limit it maybe to an hour a day versus from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. or whenever you fall asleep. There's some more subjects that can be taught. I'll get into them as we go along through the show. So stick around and we'll get into a little more of these. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Plus, tell you what, coming up, I'm going to have somebody's chance to win some ice cream from Jaden's Ice Cream in Arab. So really looking forward to that. It's coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Stick around and make sure you're here. I want you to win. It's a $10 voucher to Jaden's Ice Cream in Arab, and your chance to win is coming up shortly. That sound just makes me happy. Whenever I hear the ice cream truck, oh, you better believe it. I get up and I get moving. If you see me running, it's usually because something's chasing me or because I just heard the ice cream truck. Yeah, so, hey, I wonder if you like ice cream too. If so, you're going to need to answer my question for your chance to win a $10 voucher to Jaden's Ice Cream. A lot of fun to be had right here. And a big thank you to the whole team at Jaden's Ice Cream for agreeing to come on board with us for the summer. So we've been doing this every Monday for a while now, and it's just one of the many ways we like to make your day better. So here we go. Here's your question. An ice cream sundae is not complete until what? What's the finishing touch? 256-505-0885. This makes it so much better. Oh, what completes an ice cream sundae? There has to be one final thing. Call me up and let me know what it is. 256-505-0885. Waiting on your call right now. In the meantime, some more great music for you. Again, the number 256-505-0885. Good morning.
Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. What's your name?
Good. It's Whitney.
Whitney. All right, Whitney, what you up to today?
I'm actually walking into work right now.
Oh, where do you work?
I work at an attorney's office.
Oh, very cool. All right, well, I've got a question for you. This could land you $10 worth of Jaden's Ice Cream. And it all comes down to an ice cream sundae. It's not complete until what?
You put a cherry on top.
That's exactly right. Congratulations. Now, do you like cherries?
I do.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. My wife cannot stand them, so she always gives me, or our daughter, her extra cherry.
My kids do the same thing.
That's so cool. Wow. Well, congratulations. You just won the ice cream. Let me grab your address real quick, and I will get this voucher sent your way. Hey, could I ask you a question while I'm getting that ready?
Yes, sir.
Whitney, why do you listen to this radio station?
It just gets me in a good spiritual mood for the day. So I started off positive, no negativity.
Awesome.
So
Thank you so much for making us part of your day. It really means a lot.
yes,
All right.
thank you for being a part of it.
Oh, of course. I will get this sent your way.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too. Bye. Whitney Brooks, thanks again for calling me. I love giving stuff away. And Jaden's Ice Cream came on board and said, hey, we want to get involved with this. So thank you to them for making this happen. Now, we'll have another chance to win some ice cream coming up next Monday. But this week, well, Tuesday and Thursday, that's your chance to win a family 4-pack to Point Mallard. But Stephen, isn't the summer over? No. You see, Point Mallard and Lake Winnie, they don't close until Labor Day. So we still got some family 4-packs to give away. So we got Point Mallard on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Lake Winnie on Wednesday, having a lot of fun all summer long. Even if the school year has started, got a little more summer left. So we're going to squeeze it for all it's worth, okay? Thanks for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Now, I want you to stick around because I started this earlier, but it's some subjects that maybe our teachers could address at school to help our kids with life skills. Yeah, things that we noticed over the summer that our kids are lacking in. They could use a little more instruction. It's kind of like our version of homework for the teachers to help our kids with. So stick around. We'll get into that coming up shortly right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. But first, here's Colton Dixon with My Light. Hey, thanks for hanging out. It really means a lot that you make us part of your day, whether it's on the stream or on the radio. Dear teachers, we hope you'll take these added life skills into consideration during your lesson planning this year. Yeah, this is from all of us parents because we have seen a few behaviors displayed, a few tendencies in practice over this summer break, and we're wondering if maybe you teachers can help us out with this. Now, Mom, Dad, these are a little too relatable, but wouldn't it help, though, if our teachers got involved? I mean, we always help our kids with their homework, so could our teachers help us with these life skills? How about this? Maybe they could address this in science class. How that if you leave something that's damp laying on the floor, on the bed, on a dresser for a long period of time, it won't dry. No, it'll get mildew or moldy. Maybe bacteria will grow. That sounds like a great science lesson, doesn't it? For those, wet towels after the shower that get thrown everywhere. Hang them up, let them dry out, right? So that's one of them. Just the importance of not letting that stuff grow. All right, another one. Now this one hits home for me because just the other day, my little girl lost another tooth. So this is what we need some help with, is how to brush your teeth now that you have adult teeth. Yeah, advanced coursework will entail how to utilize your toothbrush to scrub your teeth twice a day. Because once you have no more baby teeth, you can't afford to lose another set. Now be honest, how many of your kids actually brush their teeth twice a day during summer break? Yeah, that's one of those things we kind of look past sometimes. We look over, we got to get back in that habit. Twice a day, let's take care of those teethers, right? And here's one last one, and maybe they could help address this at school. It's how to put stuff away once you're done with it. You know, like when your kid gets a snack out of the fridge and they leave the food out on the counter or out of the cabinet, and then they leave the dirty dishes everywhere. It's like, okay, there is a place to put dirty dishes, either in the sink. You could even wash them if you'd like. It doesn't take long. Or you could simply open the dishwasher and place it how it should be so it can be washed without Mom or Dad having to pick up after you. Those are just a few of them. Tell you what, I'll have some fun with this. I'll post it over on our 88.5 JFM's Come Together Facebook group, and maybe there's something on there that will really grab your attention. Thanks for hanging out with me. Again, it'll be over on that group here in about 30 seconds. That's the 88.5 JFM Come Together Facebook group. Now, some John Reddick with I Believe It. Have you ever been in the middle of a really dark place, but somehow you felt peace in the middle of that? Yeah, I know, it's crazy, right? But hey, I want to share a story with you coming up. Now, this is coming from a guy who is in that rock and a hard place kind of space right now. But the amount of joy, the calm, the peace that he's experiencing in that place, wow, it's inspiring. Stick around, I want to share it with you. So I came across Stephen's story over on TikTok, and it really hits home. You hear about this peace that passes all understanding in the Bible, but have you ever experienced it before? Well, Stephen has a pretty relatable story about how sometimes we find ourselves between a rock and a hard place, and I think it's going to give you a little inspiration today. Here, see what you think about this.
All my credit cards are maxed out. Matter of fact, they're beyond maxed out because Capital One allowed me to go $9 over on a transaction. My bank account, currently it has $4 in it. And by Monday morning, it'll be negative $126. And I don't know how I'm going to get to work. Because I have just over a quarter tank of gas for the week. And then on top of that, the van is breaking down because it's constantly overheating. Thermostat housing, which I've replaced every year, possibly. Could be that time again. Could be a leak in the system. Because currently I'm just keeping that coolant a little bit fuller than usual. I don't know. But what I do know is I'm happier than I have been in a very long time. I am counting my blessings. There's no money, but there's a roof. I kept my children and my wife out of the rain this morning. There's no money, but there's food. Not a lot, but there's food to get us through. There's no money, but there's electricity. There's no money, but I woke up this morning. And I am so thankful that I did. For you see, I can be broke, but I'm not broken. I can start from the bottom, work my way up, and build back better than I ever have. And then, as life proceeds, it'll crash back down again and I'll have to start over. But I never forget my blessings.
What do you think about that? In the middle of that spot, he's still counting his blessings. Sometimes you just have to. You have to encourage yourself a little bit. Though life is crazy, the funds get low. And Stephen just was real. He was honest. Shot a little video while he's sitting in his van, telling people where he's at. You know, I think that maybe we need to do a little more of that. We need to share with other people where we are right now, what we're dealing with, because then people can step up and help. I'm looking through the comments on this post over on TikTok, and Stacy says, could you post a Cash App or Amazon wish list? I'd love to help, and I'm sure others do too. God is good and works through all of us. And Mackenzie said, I would love to help too. Another one says, please do. Blessings come in all kinds of ways. Another one says, here too. I'd help too. Another says, same. Trisha says, yes. Cash App, Venmo, wish list. Put school supplies and school clothes on it as well. Rebecca says, I would love to help as well. Sarah says, following for reply, praying he gets as many donations as possible. And the comments keep going and going. All these people that are touched by his story and want to help him. And you know what? That's what we need to remember, that we are not alone in this life. That there are other people who want to come alongside you and help you. You've just got to tell your story. You've got to be vulnerable enough to put it out there. Push past the pride of, I'm going to do this on my own, and let people help. You watch what happens. I'll be following Stephen's story. Let's see what happens in his life. Are you an optimist or a pessimist? You know, it really bothers me when people answer that question from this stance of, well, I'm predisposed to be a pessimist, or I'm predisposed to be an optimist. No, it's a choice. Let's talk about how choosing to be optimistic can actually help you have a better life. Next. Do you see the glass as half full or half empty? You know, that's an age-old way of asking the question, are you an optimist or are you a pessimist? Do you see the brighter side of life or do you see all the negative? Let's be honest real quick. It's really easy to get jaded through life because things don't work out the way that you want them to. I mean, it's hard sometimes, you know? Well, let's talk a little bit about how maybe you're not born optimistic or born pessimistic. Maybe you are choosing to be one way or the other. Yeah, came across this little talk that Tony Robbins gave about optimism, pessimism, and how it can steer you in the right or the wrong direction. And ultimately, it comes down to getting past the whole idea of being an optimist or a pessimist and looking at some other values you can choose to show in your life starting today. I love this. See what you think about it.
Dr. Seligman is very famous for doing studies on optimism. And in those studies, you know what he found out? People that are pessimists are much more realistic. They're much more accurate. If you give them a test and you ask them to look at something and give you a size measurement of it or to evaluate their own success or failure in a task, and every study Seligman's done, he did it at the University, I think Pennsylvania if I remember correctly originally, what he found was that optimists always see themselves as doing better than they really did. What happens to pessimists, they're 10 times more accurate. But here's what he found out. What he found out is because the people who are accurate never push themselves because they know it's never going to work anyway. Whereas the optimist sees it better than it is, so they keep doing it. Because they have the illusion they did well, I'll do even better next time. And because of that optimism, they did it more often, and so optimists succeed at a 4 to 5-fold, depending upon the task, result ultimately beyond anything that a pessimist will do, and they're not as accurate. All that's a big way of saying is, if you can develop a psychology of resilience in yourself, you don't have to be optimistic or fake, you can be real. The realness is, whatever shows up, you are larger than anything that can happen to you.
Resiliency. That's what it all comes down to. The optimists, like you heard right there, they tried it again and again, and they got better and better. They practiced, they kept moving, and so you've got to choose to be resilient. Now, how can you do that? Well, by knowing that, hey, you're not alone. You've got somebody in your corner. Somebody who'll never leave you, never forsake you, is there with you every step of the way. Rely on him. Bring all your cares and your worries to him. Let him know what you're dealing with. And watch him make rough places smooth. Watch him make crooked places straight. Watch him take that mountain and flatten it out so you can walk right across it. He does things like that. So trust him today and keep plugging. Keep moving forward, all right? You're going to make it. So I look at it as an opportunity. Whenever I get a phone call from somebody that I don't know, I don't recognize the number, I'm like, okay, let's answer this and see who's on the other line. So sometimes it's a great conversation I have with somebody brand new, right? And other times it's that robocall. Oh, it's awful. They don't even have the decency to talk to you in person. They give you some kind of recorded voice, right? And then you have to press 1 to find out more. Now, sometimes I have fun with it. I'll go ahead and press 1 and I'll do my own little infomercial voice and say, did you know you could save 15% or more by switching to press 1 now to find out how? That kind of thing. So I guess I can waste their time since they're wasting mine. But anyway, let's talk about some of those serious calls, though. You probably got the, let's see, your car's extended warranty call. Yeah, they always want to know if they can give you an extended warranty. There is, let's see, the all-new senior benefits. I'm like, people, I'm 40. I'm not a senior yet. Stop it, you know? But then you have some people who really sound legitimate, and they are really scammers. Yeah, in fact, this has really picked up here in the state of Alabama recently, so much so that Aldor had to get involved. What is Aldor? I know, it's not something you're probably familiar with. The Alabama Department of Revenue. Yeah, they said they've been getting report after report of these scammers calling people. And basically what they're doing is telling people that, hey, we could help get you money from the state of Alabama. This is due to economic hardships and due to inflation for qualified businesses. It could cover things from gas, utilities, among other things. Now, these are all the promises that these scammers are giving people over the phone. But Aldor says, we don't work with third parties to provide rebates to taxpayers, and we don't negotiate with tax relief companies. We only work with taxpayers regarding debt collections. That's all they do. They say, don't be fooled. If you get calls that include any of these or other attempts to solicit personally identifiable information or offer rebates or force payments, you should not give out any information. Hang up immediately. And you should call Aldor at 251-380-3508. Yeah, there are scams going on every single day. And unfortunately, some people, well, they're a little gullible. They kind of give the information out, and then they find themselves in a world of hurt. And I know we're always trying to protect our loved ones, especially our elders, because sometimes they give people the benefit of the doubt, and they think, well, this is a legitimate thing, and sometimes it's just not. So stay vigilant out there, and don't give away any information. Sound good? All right. Just had to let you know, because it's getting pretty bad out there. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. More great music headed your way after some weather and word of life. Thank you so much for making us part of your day right here on 88.5 JFM, where we're trying to make your day just a little bit better. So I'm going to have the opportunity to interview another artist that you hear right here on the station every single day. His name is Andrew Ripp. And I'm working out all the details, but I'll be bringing you that interview very, very soon, because you see, he's going to be in concert, and that's coming up in November. And he's not alone, by the way. I was just working on this banner art to put up on our website, so you can be finding out more about that over on our website. That's 885jfm.com. But basically, what's going down is he's going to be at Mars Music Hall coming up in November with, get this, Rachel Lampa, who's made her comeback to Christian music, and Blessing Offer. That's going to be Sunday, November 12th in Huntsville at Mars Music Hall. And I'll have a chance to sit down with Andrew Ripp coming up pretty soon. So be listening for that interview. I think it's something you're going to love. And of course, we'll be putting it out on our socials as well, so you can take a look at it whenever you'd like to. All right. And yeah, you better believe we'll have tickets to the concert to give away too. So keep your ears and eyes peeled, okay? Paying it forward was not designed to stress you out. I've just got to remind somebody today. You know, when you go through the drive-through line, wherever you're at, maybe for breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever it is, and you find out that the person in front of you paid for your meal. It's like, whoa, that's amazing. Oh, today's my lucky day, you know? And then you kind of feel this pressure to pay for the people behind you. And so maybe you ask the person there, hey, could you tell me how much is the order behind me? And then they tell you this price that's way over what you were about to spend. You've got a choice now. You can either extend yourself and pay for theirs, or you can just take the blessing and move on. And I just need to remind somebody, you can just take the blessing and move on. Don't get me wrong. I know the Bible talks about God loves a cheerful giver. I get that. But, you know, being cheerful is something that takes a little bit of behind the scenes stuff. Being a cheerful giver means, hey, you're willing to give this amount. And if it's over that, you don't have it to give, it's going to put you in a bind. You're not going to be able to pay your bills. Then no, take the blessing and move on. There's no shame in that. Got a story of one mom who that kind of happened to. I'll share with you coming up. Paying it forward is a great concept, right? Basically, it comes down to this. You just received a blessing, and instead of turning around and repaying the person who gave you that blessing, well, you're going to turn around and give it to somebody else. You're going to pay it forward. And I love how this happens in the drive-through line at your favorite restaurant. When it happens, you never know how long it'll go, right? Somebody's feeling really generous, says, hey, I want to pay for mine and for the person behind me. And then the next person, it's up to them. They're going to take the blessing and move on, or they're going to pass it along. So then they'll pay for the person behind them. And I love that. It's like a driver choice, right? The person in the line makes that choice. But that's called paying it forward. But what's this whole concept of paying it backward? Have you heard of this yet? Well, I think it was come up with by the employees at the fast food restaurant. Oh my goodness, you are not going to believe what happened to Jordan Bailey. She's with her kid, right? And she's going through the drive-through line at McDonald's, and she is dumbfounded at what the cashier tells her. Here, I'll just let her tell you about it, and we'll come back and chat a little bit about it right after. Here, take a listen to this.
So I just went through McDonald's and I ordered food for myself, my son, and my husband. And I get to the window and the lady's like, did you order 3 kids meals and a couple other things? And I'm like, no, I ordered 1 kid's meal and like 3 sandwiches. So anyway, she's like, uh-oh. And she closes the window and starts talking and runs up front, and I'm figuring, oh, she probably made the car in front of me pay for my order. So she opens the window up and she's like, the total's 25 something. And I'm like, you just told me it was 17 something when I ordered my food. And she's like, yeah, but the car in front of you paid for yours, so you're paying for theirs. And I'm like, no, I didn't order that food, nor am I getting that food. So I'll pay for the food that I ordered. So she had to get the manager to come and fix the order so I could pay for my food. What?
Yeah, weird, right? But that kind of stuff happens. You got to keep your eyes and ears open when it comes to that drive-through line, because every now and then it's like a mistake has happened and they're kind of trying to cover themselves as the cashier. And so, yeah, so I'm glad that she stepped up and said something, and the manager had to get involved, but they got it all figured out. So that's what people are calling paying it backwards. It's just a big mess up. But hey, this video has gotten almost 1 million views over on TikTok, because I think maybe this has happened to more than just Jordan. So anyway, just had to talk about it a little bit. But now, don't let that hinder you from paying it forward. I'll tell you this, and then I'll let you get back to the music. I've heard of people using pay it forward for the wrong reason too. Yeah, say you're in the drive-thru line and the person behind you is so impatient and they're kind of honking their horn telling you to hurry up, or they're making gestures at you and you're looking in your rearview mirror and you're just getting agitated. I've heard of people using the pay it forward to do this. So they pay for their own food, they ask how much the people behind them, how much their order is, and then they pay both amounts, and then they take all the food and make the people behind them circle back around and redo their order. So maybe don't do that, but it has been done. I'm just saying, since we're talking about paying it backwards, I thought I'd throw that one in there, and that's free of charge. So I want to leave you with one final thought as I have to bid you adieu today. And I started this show off with this particular inspiring quote, and I'd love to end the show the same way, because I've had like 4 hours to really marinate on this whole topic. So Hannah Arendt says, forgiveness is the key to action and freedom. And earlier on, I was telling you how, if you don't forgive, it's like holding onto that rope. If you're being towed by a boat out here on Lake Gunnersville, say you're on skis or a wakeboard or a knee board, right? And say that board comes out from underneath you and you're still holding onto that rope. What happens? You get dragged through the water, and it's not a pretty picture, right? Especially for us guys, because things get embarrassing, our trunks fall off and all that. Anyway, so letting go is important. Well, now I want to talk about how it allows you to act freely, because if you're really bogged down by this feeling that this other person gives you, just when you're in their presence, you limit your actions. But forgiving them lets you get out of that place. It lets you feel free to be you, and you don't have to get in your feelings about that whole situation anymore. So really, forgiveness is not about them. Forgiveness is more about you. What do you think about that? Does that speak to your heart today? I know you've found this to be true. I understand, but sometimes we need that reminder, and I'm glad I can give it to you right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. All right, it's been a blast hanging out with you, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow from 6 to 10 for another Lifeline Morning Show. Until then, please just stay right here. And if you have to step away from your radio, tune us in online, 885jfm.com. Click that On Now button, press play, and you are good to go.